Oh, where?
Somewhere in there.
There you go, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Allison's on. Allison, I think you're muted.
All right, I'm here now.
There you are.
I see Bretta.
I just disappeared though. I was trying to figure out if that was the video button.
Excellent. So it looks like we're just waiting on maybe Renee, which I sent the link and the information to her.
And Renee may not be joining us today.
Okay.
She did not confirm that with me yet.
And I know Jill said that she had a very busy day, but I sent her yesterday the call-in number and the audio codes. So she may be joining us from that method.
Okay.
And Jeff is here too. He's just not talking yet.
But I asked
Okay.
me.
All right. All right, Brian, since you've done this before, what do we do next?
Sorry, I muted myself. So when the chair is ready to call the meeting, he just does it like he would normally. We just need to make sure that we announce that we're being recorded. And you're good to conduct your meeting. And I'll just be in the background if anybody needs anything. I'm just going to mute myself, but just say my name and I will come back and see what you need.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is being recorded, like tape recorded, or just because we're all talking recorded?
You're right. It's going to be audio and video recorded as part of the executive session or as part of the executive order. The governor allowed us to do meetings like this, but we have to provide a recording and or a transcript to the public after each meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
so
thanks, Brian.
yeah, I think Eric, it's up to you to call the meeting to order.
Yep. Officially call the meeting to order at 4:04 p.m. In attendance, Bretta, Allison, and Jeff. This conversation is being recorded, so anything said will be here forever.
That means Jeff's not going to talk at all.
Yeah. Get started, and if Alice, and if Renee and Jules sign on, we can add them to the roll call. Does everyone see the agenda here?
Yes.
Okay, and I can bring up what do you get for handout here?
I think the minutes are still in the email that I sent.
I printed them off. I read over them. I'm happy to make a motion to approve them.
Let's take a look at them here. All right, here are the minutes from February 23rd meeting. If everyone wants to just read over them and check to see if there's any issues.
Looks good to me.
All right.
So Allison has already put the motion forward to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
All right. Go back. Oops, that's, guys aren't supposed to see that. Okay. Approved February minutes. Update on COVID-19 state and town regulations to date. Brenda, do you have a copy of this that you wanted to go over? Or
No, that this is just more just to sum up for the official minutes and record that the baseball and t-ball spring sports have been canceled. The
What?
parks are closed. Playgrounds are closed, not the parks. And that the building is closed. The rec office is closed per state regulations, and that we're all working from home.
Okay.
And I haven't heard any new updates since that point. As far as I'm aware, schools are still slated to be revisited on May 4th to see if there's opening. I know that New York State has, or New York City has closed their schools, and Vermont has closed their schools for the school year. So
Okay, so right now we're just going along with the May 4th date, right? Is that what the town is doing?
I believe so. Then they will reassess.
Okay.
It really depends on what the state says. I don't want to take a guess, but it looks like things are moving towards extended. I don't know how extended,
Right.
but
Right, but if we, I mean, just we're at a point where right now May 4th is our date, and assuming that that's the date that we reopen, then all of our things would be reopened. So that's where we're looking at this point. If the governor decides to extend that date, then it's pretty much the same thing. We'll extend our date to whatever he says. So if he says June 3rd, we'll open up schools again, then we would assume that that's when we would open up our parks and things again, right? Is that kind of how we're doing it?
I think we'll be following the Board of Health's regulations on that, and they may
Okay.
offer a staged reopening just to sort of mitigate the impact of opening everything all at once again. But yes,
Okay.
but moving forward, I think that we do have to have in mind the very strong possibility that things will be closed for longer, potentially through the end of June, maybe even into July or August.
Okay.
Hey, it's just Jill Betters. I wanted to let you all know I logged in.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Hi, Jill.
Hi.
So Jill, did you hear that, the information about the COVID?
I logged in when Allison was asking about the parks. I've been on for like the last 5 minutes.
Okay, excellent.
Sounds like you're up to date, Jill.
Good, I'm glad.
all right. Well, I guess if we get to a point where we can, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we're going to revisit baseball. Regardless of when we go back to school, I don't think we should even, that should be just canceled.
I agree.
I guess Summer Park would be the only thing that we would adjust based on return date. If it.
But I have a
It's clear to
question with
go.
regards to that.
Yeah.
So say they decide not to reopen school, right? Like say they decide not to go back to school because the governor still closes everything through June 4th. Would we as a rec be considering opening up Summer Park earlier to help out families who just went back to work? Just a thought, that's all.
I don't know if we have anyone. It would all depend if we got somebody hired in time and all that up and running. It could be a different version of Summer Park. Maybe more of wouldn't be trips or anything like that. Maybe just at the school and like it used to be,
Right. And I know that was kind of questionable, the whole use of school due to carpet and roof and all of that. And I know that we were supposed to be addressing that at one of our future meetings, but then all of this started. So have we come to terms with that with regards to Candido and use of the school?
The last I heard in speaking with her is that Brian, if Brian can hear me, if he's anywhere in the room, Brian is the one who's overseeing, from what Lisa tells me, the reinstallation dates. And my guess is that with this closure, it's very hard to guess when the school's going to be opening again and when people can get into recarpet. But Brian would need to speak specifically to that, and we have not yet been able to figure out a time to meet with Lisa, Brian, and I to talk about that.
So the question was about the carpet project?
Yes.
It looks like if everything gets approved at town meeting, everything got pushed back with the COVID-19 situation. So town meeting's been moved from May to June 17th. Assuming that we can have a town meeting on the 17th, the money would be appropriated for that carpet project. So the project could be scheduled in July or August, which unfortunately could impact part of that. The section that's going to be done is going to be the section on the other side of the gym, towards the eastern part of the building where the classrooms are. So that may actually not be in your way.
Well, is the library going to be redone too?
No, the library is going to be in phase 3. We have to do some ceiling work around the skylights. So that's going to be done the following summer.
And are classrooms being done?
The classrooms off the library are not being done. That will all be done together. So it's just the classrooms. I think the music rooms down there. Some of the younger children classrooms are down in that section.
Okay, because I know that they use the gymnasium and the after-school room. The after-school room the music room would be done. So that's something that would be off limits to the camp. The gymnasium, I think she was going to be using for furniture storage.
That's possible.
So if we're talking about using the school during that period, we would have to talk to Lisa about potentially just using the cafeteria and the entryway, and if that's something that we could do.
So who's to say if we can or can't do it? Is because we know that she's going to tell us that we can't. She doesn't want us to be there. So if she says that, is it out, or who makes the final decision there?
Ultimately, that's going to be up to Lisa and the school committee. So she's indicated that she doesn't want camp there this year?
Yes, correct. That's why we were going to have a meeting.
Okay. Then if that's ultimately that, the use of that facility falls under the school committee's control. I don't know why she has that. I haven't had that conversation with her, so I don't know why.
Okay. So it sounds like we need to figure out an alternate plan, because I think from, it's unfortunate Renee's not on, but she did speak to her and it didn't seem like we were going to be welcome to be using the school this year. So I feel like we should come up with an alternate plan for Summer Park.
Well, I agree and I disagree with you, Allison. I mean, obviously based on what Brian just said, it's not really Lisa's full decision. And wouldn't we go to school committee first?
Yeah,
I mean,
but how do we do that? I mean, I don't know. I guess
They're having
we
remote
need-
meetings. Well, like we're meeting right now. That's how they're meeting. So I guess we asked to be brought on their agenda.
So we're in April, and you know, if we start, you know, early July, we have to hire people. I mean, I feel like we need to make big decisions today. I don't know how long we can wait to. I mean, I guess the place doesn't matter if we keep planning. We just need an alternate if it doesn't work out, you know.
Correct. No, I agree with you. What are thoughts on an alternate space? I mean, alternate used to be up at Zelensky Field, but there's no covered area. We do have the portable tent, and there is a play structure there, whereas if it was vets, there is no play structure there.
Well, at the Riverfront Park, there's 2 covered areas in a no play structure, but an open field.
But no bathroom facility. And
There's porta potty down there.
yeah.
So, and the point would be to try to find something for rain days when they may not necessarily be able to stay under the tent or the portable cover.
Right. Is the library, the old library off? I mean, are we able to use that for this purpose?
That was just a good suggestion that we had. Maybe it was you and I who chatted about that, Allison, was that if it was at Vets and we had a tent up at Vets, then in the possibility of rain, that was an area that could be used, because we figured that would be better than using and opening the rec center, considering their school offices above it.
Right.
And that
Well,
would
the
depend, that would depend, I think, on our insurance. I think that depends on what our insurance coverage is for the old library building for the town, and the town would have to approve that use.
Or maybe we use the rec center, irritate the superintendent enough for her to tell the principal that we need to use the school.
Bingo.
Library. So right now it looks like if we're looking for alternatives, we have the possibility of the rec center rooms. And if we can explore with the town, the use of the old library.
Yeah, and I would say still exploring with the school, the use of the school,
Right.
and then
That would be the first. That would
that's
be our
ideal.
first. Yeah.
But these are our backup plans.
Right.
Yeah.
So what, Beretta, let us know what we need to do to move forward with these. You know, when the next school committee meeting is. I mean, I don't know. We need to make a plan, you know. So.
But I can reach out to the school committee chairperson and inquire about that, and I'll get back to you all the rest for the end of the day.
Okay, and I'll talk with Brian and Mariah and find out the status of the old library building as well as a contingency plan.
Mm-hmm.
Brian was on the call now.
He's muted. He might be off running around doing other stuff.
May 19th is the next school committee meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. I wonder where you got that info.
I looked on the line and found the information.
All right.
Okay, so if assuming one of these works out, then we need to hire a director. Have we been advertising for that yet?
No, Brian was shifted over to the library director position. And so as soon as he got that done, he was going to move over to the director of parks program position and the assistant director.
Okay.
So he has all the information. He's going to write up a job description for that and then talk with me about it, or we'll come up with one together and then he'll post it.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the timeline on that. So, but we're working on it ASAP.
Okay. I mean, I guess at this point we should probably I mean, I don't think it would be possible to have an early June start. I just don't know how. Because I mean, but when we start getting applications and stuff, it takes a month at least to do an interview, and that's under normal circumstances. I mean, because we have to have everyone has to be sworn in. That's going to be on the hiring committee, and it's not an easy thing. So I I can't imagine us being ready in a month and a half, because then that person also is going to have time to sort of plan out the season. So.
And plus meeting with all of the assistant director and all of the counselors and doing some sort of training.
Right.
Depending on when things open again, that takes a little bit too to get together.
So I guess I feel like, I mean, it would be nice if we could figure out a way to open early, but I just can't see how it would happen with not, if it were Marissa coming back and, she knew how to do everything and we weren't going through the hiring, I could, it seems more feasible, but I can't imagine us being able to do that in a month.
You're probably right, Allison. It was just a off the cuff thought.
I think
sorry.
It's a great idea. It would be a great idea, but it might be just too difficult to pull off. So, I mean, another thing we should think about is should we just open it up to the Irving kids? We don't want this to get so big, because if we do end up in in the library or the rec rooms, there's not a lot of extra space. So, I think we should consider capping it or just having Irving children. Like this year.
I think that would probably be a really good idea, especially considering I think it's possible we may have a lot more families looking after children have been home for potentially 2 months worth of time. And I know my own children are climbing the walls, and, as a parent would love for them to find something else to do with their peers.
Right.
Maybe we do only offer it to Irving people, and we accommodate these partial schedules and 2-day or 3-day a week plans or something.
Right.
Now, we had talked about having Tuesdays and Thursdays be the drop-in days, kind of the part-time days.
Yeah.
And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus Tuesday, Thursday being for full days.
Uh-huh.
So were we going to potentially reserve a number of slots for drop-ins or for part-time? Anyway? Or do we want to just go all sort of free form? Is that what you're saying, Jill?
I really don't know. I mean, I think I was kind of just agreeing with Allison in the sense of, we're elected by people from the town of Irving, and we want our program as best as possible to help Irving families. And considering, how everybody's kind of been homebound and kids haven't been out and about, and kids are really going to need this time. And I think families will really need this time for kids to be able to get out there with their peers and out of their home. So I'm open. I know it may cause a lot of chaos. I'm literally open to whatever we think is in the best interest of the kids of the town, whether that be people who sign up every single day or having Monday, Wednesday, Friday option or Tuesday, Thursday option. I think drop-in is super difficult. So I think I'd be more apt to say Tuesday, Thursday you could sign up for, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I don't know how we could easily.
I think that's a good idea, Jill, because it's the drop-ins that are so unpredictable, and so for planning purposes. So if we did, an option of a full week or an option of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, as long as they're signing up and paying ahead of time, I think that would be fine, because then you can plan. I'm going to have 30 kids this day and 45 this day. So I think, I'm open, like you say, just to make it as convenient as possible to the parents, but also where we're not running around trying to collect money from people, and people are dropping in and just dropping their kids off on the curb and stuff. So I think having more options, but signing up ahead of time is probably going to be the best way to go.
No, I agree. Just to keep
do we make
on track.
Yeah, do we make decisions about this right now and make a motion to close our summer park to all children but kids from town. And the
Yeah,
only other thing we're going to run into is we've always allowed teachers from town to allow their kids to go. I guess that's the only other thing to think about.
I mean, I'm fine with that too. If the teachers are being, working in the school during the summer or doing summer school, I have no problem with their children signing up. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
So Bretta, do we actually need to make a motion?
When it comes to the registration, I don't think so. I think that that's something that we might be able to be okay on. I don't know if Brian,
Okay.
I think that that's something that's okay, that we don't need to make a motion on. One of the things that was asked of us when we were meeting with Jake, 2 weeks ago or something, is that we think about moving the start date actually back a week. So into July, and have, instead of 6 weeks, have 5 weeks. Just so things could kind of get organized out, and we did have time to hire and train people, and things would be able to get set as we come out of the shutdown. So that wouldn't be pushing it earlier, it would actually be pushing it 1 week later. And shortening it by 1 week.
Did I miss that? Or did you guys talk about that, like a meeting that I wasn't at?
It was at a department heads meeting.
Okay. I would say vote against. I would vote against that. I would vote against if we're, and opening and having it available to parents the regular start time. I think that was one of the things we chatted about, was the fact that this year we'd actually have a full week that first end of June going into July.
Yep.
And we wouldn't have to close on a day because sometimes we did because of the holiday. I don't know. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm fine with it if we can pull it off, and it's amazing how long it takes to get anything done. So, I'm fine with keeping the dates the same, unless, someone else thinks otherwise. It doesn't really matter to me.
why don't we revisit this after we get somebody hired?
Yeah.
Well, we
Good
need,
idea.
don't we need, when would we start registration? We need to really start that in May at the latest, right? So it's hard to start registration if you don't have your dates set,
We can open registration and say that the dates are contingent upon the shutdown,
Okay.
on the COVID-19 shutdown and the Department of Health regulations. And
sounds good.
if it gets pushed back by 1 week, it gets pushed back by 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
fine.
good.
Whoever
So-
has signed up for that week, we refund them their tuition.
Okay.
That's
Are we
fine.
going to we're going to be accepting payments from people now?
No, it's
I don't think we should. We'll have to look, Brett, if we can create like a waiting list or something instead of a sign up, because it's quite a process to return all that money.
Eric, if we don't deposit the money from the from whoever, I forget whatever collects it, as long as we don't deposit it into our accounts, is it easier to refund out of Unipay or not?
No.
It's the same.
It goes
It's the same
directly
wording.
into the town, and then the town has to cut all those individual checks
Okay.
1 week.
honestly, that
so
just worries me. Like, that just worries me that somebody's going to go in there, sign up. I don't have to pay right now, so let me just sign up for every
I
day.
know that's the
there
only
is that.
thing.
Yeah.
But like Eric said, if we could do a waiting list, I don't know. I guess that doesn't really solve that issue either.
Let's just cut, if we need to, we'll have the checks cut back to them. That's not a big deal to us.
Yeah, we may have a less grouchy accountant.
It could also be that we end up saying payments are due by June 1st, or give to hold for now they can sign up, but then payments are ultimately due by June 1st. And if
Okay.
June 1st they haven't paid, that gives 3-ish weeks beforehand. I would think that they would know if we were opening up at least 3 weeks beforehand.
So is the
Okay.
dates active right now, June 29th through August 7th? Is that what we had decided, those 6 weeks?
Those are the dates.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, I feel like obviously we know that by mid-July, so you're saying nobody pays in,
Or people
Until
can
the-
prepay. People could
I don't
prepay.
think you can do it
but-
that way. It would just be easier if people pay, because that's a commitment.
yeah,
Okay.
no,
You're
I
gonna
completely
get hard
agree with you.
numbers. Yeah.
I was just trying to get a handle. I wasn't sure if somebody said no payment, but yeah, I agree. I feel like you need to pay for the days you sign up for, and if for some reason we can't open on June 29th due to COVID-19, then we get refund checks through the town.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to create, with any sport, it does that. You know, it's just such a, you know, especially with the amount of fluidity we're going to have with Summer Park, with days and weeks and things. You've got to make a hard schedule, set the days in the computer. These are the days you pick. This is the week you pick. And you select them, you pay for them. I mean, if we have to,
Yeah.
Brett, I
Yeah.
think you're going to have to post something now, though, to let people know that we're not accepting out-of-town residents signing up for Summer Park, though.
I mean,
That way
unless
people
you
could be
don't
looking for
get
other
enough people.
options.
yeah.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I mean, we'd want to have some. I think, I don't know how many people we're going to get normally out of town versus in town. You know, say we had only 35 or something. You know, I think we'd want to have just
What
some
do we
out
do,
of
a
towners
waiting
as an
list?
option.
A waiting list for that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind
You
of
know,
going to be
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know. I guess I feel like this is just going to be a weird year. We may end up with 15 kids from Irving, but we just need to like plan it as simple as it can possibly be, you know? So maybe, you know,
Yeah.
maybe we don't, you know, make a ton of money this year, but it's just going to be a convenience for the Irving. I feel like when we open it up to other towns, it just adds all of that confusion, you know, with the other
I
schools
agree.
wanting their kids to come. And I just feel like we just need to sort of take one for the team this year, just do it for Irving, just make that decision and not be wishy-washy about it, you know?
And also, if it helps to know this, Lisa said that they are not doing the summer school program with the other schools this summer.
Okay, so we already know right there we're not going to have 15 kids from Leverett.
Yep.
Right.
So,
That never paid.
which is great. I mean, in the sense of it's not taking up a spot and we don't have to accept 15 kids from out of town while we're telling everybody else we're not accepting kids from out of town. So I agree with Allison.
Right.
I feel like it's obviously we're not in it to make money this year. We're in it to accommodate families and kids who have been cooped up at home.
Right.
No, I agree. That works.
Jeff had a question about the hiring of the director. Maybe, I don't know if Brian can answer. Do we need a hiring committee formed for that, or can just the rec committee meet and do it?
Sorry, what was the question?
If we're for the rec committee to hire a summer park director, can the rec committee just do that? I mean, commission, or do we have to do a hiring committee and do all the swearing in and all of that?
You would do it the way you've done hiring in your past years. What would your process change from the way that you've done it in the past?
Well, it's been a while since we hired Marissa, but I'm pretty sure that we just, you know, the rec committee hired her. We didn't do a
Yeah.
hiring committee.
Well,
Okay.
In essence, it's the same thing. The rec committee would just be doing it as a full body. So you'd have to
Okay.
do the interviews or whatever you're going to do in an open meeting.
Okay.
Yep, but it's the same process that you've used in past years.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there we go. That would speed it up a little bit.
Yeah. So it would just need to be, yeah, an open meeting. We don't have to do the swearing in and all that. So.
The open meeting meaning like any member of the public could come in and sit in on our hiring process?
Yes, for
They can listen in.
transparency.
Okay.
All right, so I guess first step we need to, figure out all the registration kinks. Maybe that can get designed and we can look at it and see if there's anything that we're forgetting. And we need to start advertising to hire the director and assistant director. And then Bretta, have you spoken with counselors from last year to see who's coming back?
I have not, because I have not been in the office to get their phone numbers, A.
Okay.
B, also, we didn't know for sure if we were going to be running the parks program, so I just kind of
Right.
held off.
Okay.
Jill, did you say that one counselor was not going to be returning who has the lifeguard certification?
Lifeguard.
I did not say that. I remember we had chatted. I don't know. I just was contacted by Allison about her lifeguard certification. She, I think, mentioned to me that she thought she would be the only one returning. I can look into that.
And she needed the recertification.
Yep. I have
Right, and
not
we did
heard
offer to pay
from
for
her,
it.
but we did let her know that recertification, once she came up with a thing, we were okay with covering that for her up to a certain amount. I don't remember what the amount was, but I'll reach out to both of the lifeguard certified counselors and ask if they're coming back tonight as well.
Okay, thank you. I don't think from my minutes, I did not see us agree on any particular certain amount. It was just said that we would cover it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I think the whole class was like $200, $250. So I can't imagine it'd be more than, anything. I'm imagining it'd be 100 or so. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think maybe when I quickly perused online, 200 was the most that I saw, but that was quite a few months ago.
But I think we're always desperate for a lifeguard, so they could charge us whatever, and we're gonna pay it. So.
Somebody eating some Doritos?
Right, I missed that because my husband came in and asked a question. I muted myself. What was the question, Allison?
He wanted to know if somebody was eating Doritos.
Oh, well, I heard
That was
say
Jeff.
But right before that, about the recertification.
Oh, I was just saying that we're always so desperate for a lifeguard that we probably don't care what it's gonna cost. We're just gonna pay it, so.
Okay, and we need 2 of them.
I don't think we need 2. I think we were lucky to have 2, but we don't need 2.
I'll look into the regulations.
In the year before, we actually hired a man, Roman, I don't know how to say his last name. He came up on our lake days, and he was our lifeguard just for those days.
Okay.
It was Roman Tippanyuk.
Yeah, yes.
He doesn't happen to be at the YMCA now, does he?
Oh, probably. He's like everywhere.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I think he's actually Lynx's swim teacher.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if we do need to, then were you satisfied with him? If I put out a sort of feelers for hiring a once a week lifeguard for whatever day we end up going to Laurel Lake?
I mean, if we're desperate enough, I guess. I think he charged us $100 each time, so he's not cheap.
Okay, never mind.
This would be if Allison doesn't come back. We don't need 2 lifeguards. I mean, unless that regulation's changed in the last year. But I mean, at that point, we may just reconsider even going to the lake, for crying out loud. They're going to make it that difficult.
Okay, and they have their lifeguards too.
Maybe
so
we should just buy an above ground pool.
There you go. Should I just jump the gun and make reservations with the bus company for field trip days and lake days?
I don't know. Do you guys? I would say maybe yes, for sure on lake days. Like Allison said, how this year is kind of crazy. I mean, like, do we? I don't know. Do we think about just local field trips?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good idea. I like that.
Right. I mean, I think we've got, Northfield Mountain, we've got Unity Park, even though, and maybe we could go there the days that the other park is gone. I mean, it's a nice park. It's something different. So I think we could find enough local things. We've got the bowling alley. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem.
I'm just thinking bowling alley, like you said, Northfield Mountain. There's
Honestly,
other
these
like.
kids will be happy with anything that gets them outdoors, at this point.
Yeah.
I think they do camp boat trips if we wanted to take them out on the river one day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think kind of do, and even if we have to, then we do 2 bowling alley trips and 2 trips
Right.
to North Mountain and 2 trips on the boat. And if the kids go for a second time, they go for a second time. But I think we're coming
Right.
down to the wire, and this was things that Marissa started planning, at this time. And since we don't have
Right.
that, and we haven't even hired, then we not worry about, going to the movies and doing this and doing that. And
Right.
I mean, if maybe we let them see a movie at the rec center, or
Right.
I don't know. We have the good TV at the rec center. They could have a movie day and bring half of them over there, switch and do the older kids in the
Right,
afternoon,
right.
little kids in the morning,
Right.
or vice versa.
Okay, so I will call Irving State Forest and see what days if they've even started to book up the lake this year. It's so weird.
Oh, yeah.
But what days would be best for the camp group to go, and then I'll book 6 weeks worth of buses for that. One bus
Mhm.
each day, right? It's one bus.
Yeah, my only
Yeah.
vote would be to see if they could put us for Lake Day Friday, only because that's always how it's been for us, unless people
Yeah.
think switch it to have it be midweek and change things up, knowing that we're not taking any big field trips. We could have Lake Day be Wednesdays. Those would be my vote, Wednesday or Friday, if there's availability.
It would need to be on one of the days that we don't do the drop extra kids, because the bus will get too full. So yeah, Wednesday or Friday would work.
Well, we're not doing that anymore because we were saying that they could come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Plus the 5
I
days.
remember how somebody chimed in along with me saying, yeah, let's not do drop-ins. So the drop-in would be considered, you sign up.
I don't
Tuesday.
mean drop in.
No?
I'm sorry. I meant the days where more than just the weekly kids can come, like the kids who just come for 2 days a week. Originally, we were just going to do Tuesday and Thursday because then, if they were at the school, you could have, 60 or 70 kids. But on field trip
Right.
days, we had to keep it at the minimum. So as long as whatever the lake day is, we don't accept more kids than what can be on the bus, we'll be fine.
Gotcha.
So like 40 kids or whatever that number is.
Well, we can
Yeah.
cap the camp at 40 kids.
Right.
And then people can either sign up for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday through Friday.
Right. And I think that'll be fine. Just keeping it with Irving kids. I doubt we'll have 40 kids. So I think that should be fine. And if it seems to be a problem, like we've run out of spots and we have a lot of people still needing spots, then maybe we could open up some more spots on the days that there are no field trips, so.
Okay. So I will at least get the bus for the lake days. at the very
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll make some inquiries for whoever gets hired in for some of the local field trips. Okay. So
And
we're
Bretta, I
keeping-
don't think it would be a bad thing for you to go ahead and even book some of those. Before Marissa was here, I booked all of the, the events and everything. So, because we would have these directors that would come in like, a week before, and they were teenagers. They didn't do anything. So I planned out all of summer parties. So we could do that. If you feel like, June 8th or July 18th is a great day to go to Northfield Mountain, just go ahead and book it with them. So we're not waiting on, the hiring process to make any concrete decisions like that. So.
Correct, and North of the Mountain is a field trip that, as long as it's not thundering and lightning, they can still participate in.
They
Right.
also,
They can go in the yurt.
yeah, I was gonna say they have the yurt, so they do have facilities for if they do need to move inside for some of the stuff.
Right.
The powerhouse, we can take them in there.
Put them right to work.
Well, that's it. Go swimming in the reservoir. So summer parks, then we are going to have open at 40 kids, same dates as before, Monday, Wednesday, Friday signups, Tuesday, Thursday signups, and 5 full day signups. I will
Yes.
go ahead and try to get Fridays or Wednesdays, if not Fridays, at Laurel Lake, get the buses set up. Brian and I will go ahead and write up the job descriptions and get those posted. I will look into local field trips, 1 a week. Is that what we're thinking?
Okay. I think that's fine.
Okay. And Allison, I will contact the previous counselors. And Jill, did you talk to Allison to let her know that she could do the recertification?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so I will contact them and find out if they are planning on returning or not, or if they are interested in returning.
And I will reach out to Allison and the Elson girl for you.
The Elson girl?
Yeah, she was the other lifeguard, Andrea
Who's the other
Elson's
one?
daughter, Emma.
Andrea. Okay,
Elson.
yeah,
Yep.
her daughter. Okay, thank you. All right, and we will put we'll put that up on. I'll put an announcement up on Facebook. We will try to get something in the next around town, and we will put up the registration on. Do we want to start registration at any particular date or
Maybe May 1st.
May 1st? We'd have a better
I mean-
idea by then too, and people are more likely to wait until May 4th anyway.
Right, right.
Cinco de Mayo.
Okay. So, volleyball. I have information on volleyball.
Hey,
We'll
actually,
go backwards.
one question before we talk about that. We're not a fully staffed recreation commission, correct? Don't we have one opening?
Renee,
No.
Somebody asked me, that's why.
We're full.
Renee, I checked with Renee and she did get in and sign before the 18th. So she is, I think we're full. Renee was
Okay.
the only seat that was not yet signed to renew. And she did sign to
Okay.
come back. So for re-election.
Mr. Icorn, you signed for re-election?
Oh, what?
You heard me.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Woohoo!
So,
Nobody better vote for me.
Free Coke at all our meetings.
that's it.
I like Pepsi.
All right, volleyball. For volleyball, Glenn contacted me and asked me for the specifics on the depth, size, installation of the volleyball net, posts and everything, and types of sand, and there's got to be gravel and a drainage to put in on each side. So I'm getting that all set up for him. And
Oh, good.
you're gonna now, how formal do we want to get with the sand? With the sand fill, there's beach sand, which I guess is like a mix of sand plus small pebbles. And if we need to, we should probably get a sort of a sand sifter to go through and take out any garbage or
That
rocks or anything that falls into the sand every once in a while. But otherwise, I mean, construction sand, is going to rip people's knees open. So we're going to have to go with a little bit nicer sand if we want people to use the volleyball court.
Right.
We can go with the kindler, gentler sand.
Whatever
kinder,
the
gentler-
best we can afford, is good with me.
Hampton
Okay.
Beach sand.
Yeah,
So
they're not
I will-
using it.
I will look at everything because I know that we have a certain amount set aside for volleyball. I'll look at everything and see how much things are going to cost and work with Glenn to figure out what is left over for sand. Because I think it's a fair amount of sand
Okay.
for the volleyball field. Now, Court, do we want to put, another thing that's suggested is that you put edging up around the pit, even though that there's a border around the volleyball field, court, whatever you call it itself. There's like a couple feet on each side all around.
Yeah,
that's
I think
crash
Glenn would
zone.
appreciate that.
Do we want to put a like an actual physical plastic or rubber or some kind of a border between the grass and the sand?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we do want a border. Edging.
Well, me and Jeff were a yes. I don't know about Jill and Eric.
I missed that, sorry.
Come on, Jill.
If we wanted to add a sort of a border material between the dirt and grass of the park and the edge of the sand pit, so
Yeah.
that the grass doesn't fall into it or grow into it.
I'm fine with that. I mean, is that something that we're going to be expected to install?
It's something that we'd be
No.
expected to pay for.
Yeah, I'm up for whatever. I mean, I think certainly having some form of edging is going to keep the weeds and make it easier to maintain potentially.
Okay.
Asphalt.
There you go.
Well, that would make it ADA compliant.
Sand's a little tough.
All right. So otherwise, that's Glenn's gonna get to work on that during the shutdown because there's a lot of his other work has been stalled, so he has time.
Okay. Good.
Anything else on volleyball?
Did you get the specs on the posts from?
Nope. I'm going to go in and look back through our receipts, see what I brought them home so that I could look through them and see what we actually ordered from them, and then I'll go and look online and see what those specs are. So I was looking at the
Okay.
court first. Okay. Strategic planning. Our contact person at RECOG is Helena Farrell, and we're moving ahead with the scope of work with them. And she was wondering if we could set up a time to meet by phone or video or whatever, like this kind of deal, with her either next week or the week after, so that we can get started on the strategic planning for Vets Field and looking also at Park Street and whatever else is going on. And I know Wednesdays and Fridays were good this week for people after 4. Is that something that still holds for next week?
I believe so. Let me check my calendar.
I'm free, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
good for
good.
Wednesday.
Wednesdays
Jill,
are
I know
better for us.
you're a little more difficult, Jill, with your work schedule.
She's just difficult.
For me, unfortunately, tomorrow is my last day of work, and I start chemotherapy Tuesday. So my first week after chemo is not going to be a very fun week.
No.
So you guys plan the meeting, and if I can get on, I can get on.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will then talk with Helena and see if Mariah, Helena and I can figure out a time to meet either Wednesday or Friday next week. And if that doesn't work out, then the week after, the same 2 days.
Yes.
And we'll figure out how to get started on that.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions about the strategic planning?
No, I liked your email and that you were kind of, looking for the higher quality things. I think you put that really well. So I appreciate the thought that you put into that.
And I passed that on to Mariah just right before this meeting so that she could share it with Cindy to look at for Park Street Park.
Right.
And that was the scenario for the possible scenarios for the Park Street Park.
Okay.
And I have 2 more scenarios that were part of the original proposals or ideas for Vets Field that could be adapted for Park Street Park that she gave us a little bit more information on, and I'm going to forward those to you all to look at just for your input on the ideas.
Okay.
Okay. So I will forward those to you separately. They're not proposals, they're just ideas, like what kinds of things could be done.
Okay.
And I think soccer camp we're still on for.
Yes, we are, unless I'm told otherwise. But yeah, he has forwarded me info and said that we're good to go. It's just unfortunate if school doesn't reconvene. That's kind of how I was getting all of our info out.
Yep, they are still putting out the newsletters.
Okay, I will. I'll get one of those to Mrs. Smith. I have been getting the newsletter. I just feel like ever since it went electronic, we have less people who kind of read it regularly. And so I had hand flyers to pass out. I have like a box at my house of like 750 of them. So, I mean, if facilities open up, I will be running around to local elementary schools, kind of dropping them off and asking them to hand them out, because I feel like having a physical copy in your kid's backpack, people are actually paying attention to those things a little bit more, especially because they've been out of school so long.
Yeah.
I agree. If you do need help running those around, I can help you run those around.
Yeah, I'll let you know. But I have some stuff that he sends me to that I'll start to upload on our Facebook page, as I get it, and I'll send him out a request. He normally sends us a couple banners and different stuff like that. I just don't know, maybe the library, once everything reopens, since the library's been pretty busy, maybe they would let me post a banner in their lobby there.
Okay.
But we are a go, and we are a go for the week following summer park closure.
Okay.
So August 10th?
Yeah, is it the 10th to that week. Because we didn't want it to overlap with summer park, we said. And we wanted it to be over with before kids went back to school. We didn't want it to be the week before kids went back to school.
10th through the 14th?
Yes. I believe, in all honesty, I do not have my calendar in front of me.
Yes, 10th through the 14th.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Calendar, I guess that would be new business. Calendar for upcoming rec activities. So have we decided for or against a summer fest?
Against.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know how you can plan something like that, I mean, because, we would need to reserve things ahead of time, and if it ends up falling through, we're going to end up with like the last time when we had to do an indoor bouncy thing for Christmas, and I just think we should skip it this year.
Okay.
Go back
So
to
we're
the Fall
having
Fest.
a
Fall Festival.
fall festival, a social distancing summer fest.
I thought it was distance socialing.
Distance socializing.
Yeah.
So do we want to then think about doing a fall festival or skip it and we just bounce it this year?
I say we table that till fall.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think once we get,
I mean, I'm not
It doesn't
against the
take-
idea, but
I think with everything, that's just, I mean, we could put that something, you know, August. We usually have it October.
Except for, I will say that if we're going to be doing things like having, say, some music or those blow up things again, the inflatables, they book out earlier. So do face painters, performers, etc. So they book earlier.
I don't know. I guess I feel like we should probably not plan on things. I've heard that it may be August before we are allowed outside of our zones. So, I mean, maybe we could do an impromptu sort of block party. I don't know. I just feel like making plans right now it just doesn't make sense. So that's just how I feel.
So something lower. I mean, we could also start to think about doing just a bonfire.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we could just if we're able to come out in August, maybe we could just do a bonfire block party type, where we just all kind of gather and it's not a big, huge planned thing, but at least it's something. So, I feel like that might be our best, and I don't know, maybe we can find a last minute band that'd be willing to come play or something. I don't know, but then it's nothing set in stone. We're not planning something that we're going to have to go and cancel and pay deposits on and things like that,
Okay.
That's good. I agree. I want a
thank you.
bonfire.
I like that idea.
How about a B&B, bonfire with beer tent?
Yes, I like it.
It'd be
Corona
great
beer?
if we could. Yeah, I got a hankering for some lime.
All right, so we will hold off on that. The other thing just to think about with the parks, we were talking about funding for Park Street Park, and our budget line is fairly low, as you guys know, for that, if it gets approved at the town meeting at the 150. So we're trying to figure out alternative funding sources like grants, et cetera, that we can look for, which may push our timeline out. And we've discussed that, and it may not. So that's why we're looking at some new scenarios for it. But also, something had been brought up about potentially fundraising for portions of it. And it wouldn't be huge amounts of money. It would be small, discrete things like maybe $5,000 or $10,000 fundraising for a swing set or fundraising for a slide or something like that. It's just something to consider as we're moving forward with this, is thinking about events and some of the ways that we could fundraise to support the playground installation and also drum up some public excitement about it. So
I
that
like
was
the grants idea.
Yeah, there's not a lot right out there right now. A number of the grants programs have reallocated their giving to funding emergency services.
Okay.
So some of the
Maybe we
community
can pick
grants.
up some of their used tents.
That what?
Maybe we can pick up some of their used tents.
There you go. So we're the grant funding sources are something that we're looking at, but there's not a lot at the moment because of the COVID-19 situation.
Mm-hmm.
And what people need right now is not necessarily playgrounds, but they need masks and food and ventilators. So, so that's where some of the granting agencies have refocused their efforts temporarily. So they've put their current grant funding programs on hold, and that may push us out a little bit on the playground till maybe next spring, but we'll see. There's a lot of groundwork to be done anyway, so. But it's something to think about, is ways to get people to, if we can't fund the playground that we want through the town and through grants, are there ways to look at other ways of funding it?
Is there, I mean, I hate fundraising with a passion. I feel like it's a whole lot of work for very few people. Can we just go back to the town and ask for more money? I mean, that seems to me the easiest thing to do.
They had to cut a decent amount out of the budget.
Okay,
So
so that's not an option this year, probably.
not this year.
So we'll have a good ground covering to play on then, huh?
One of the other things to think about too is they're going to take down a couple of sick trees, and we want to, part of the redesign of Park Street at least, we want to look at some of the trees that the tree warden has picked out as being quick growers and good for the playground for shade cover and disease
Okay.
resistance. So at
Like
one point I'll
palm
get information from him on that.
Okay. All right, well, you're cutting in on my dinner time. My stomach's slapping my backbone. Are we done?
We've covered everything. Eric?
Yeah,
Alright.
no, I'm good. We could, Jill, if you don't have anything, call the meeting to end at 5:08.
Yeah, I'm good.
Second it.
Woo, woo. Peace out, Pete.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all. Oh, hold on. Do we set another meeting, or we want to do that?
Do we want to do that? Or do we want to do that in a couple of weeks?
Well, we have to get to the school committee meeting on the 19th.
Yep.
So that means we need to have a plan before that. So I would say, and you want to meet with the
Oh, I'm in May.
FERCog, HANA, 6, so that puts us 19th. So you probably want to meet the 13th as a committee.
That's a Monday?
That's a Wednesday the 13th.
Wait. What month are we? We're in May, right? No.
May, yeah. Because we're probably going to try to meet the 22nd or the 29th with FERCog.
Yep.
And then that puts us a week off, and then 13th is a Wednesday, the 19th is a Tuesday for school committee. So I'd say we want to get everything together the week before the school committee.
So May 13th?
May 13th.
We can try that, or we can go for the day after the Cinco de Mayo. We could do the. You know what? Let's try for the May 13th. Well, we're also going to have to figure out dates for the hiring. So.
Yeah. Well, let's just have that as like an official meeting, and then we can figure out any 22nd, 29th, or the 6th. I don't think we're going to have any applications ready to go realistically by that time. So.
No, they might just be starting to come in. So, okay,
Yeah.
so May 13th at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put that down. and send that out.
All right. And then you'll get back to us when we get a decide on meeting with the planner.
Yes, I will get back to you as soon as I hear from her.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Well, I'm going to hang up because everyone's ready to be done.
Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.